All right, gang. Happy Tuesday to you. Welcome back to the live trading room. How's everyone doing today? Good, 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 good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We got some slower markets today. Actually, let me get this out of here. This is my testing thing. I was able to do some sneaking about an hour, 45 minutes of back testing this morning because the analysis didn't take too long. I'm doing good, Orsi. Thanks for asking. Feel like it's that part of the year where I'm starting to fight off a cold. I felt something in the throat last night, so getting on pure defensive mode. Could be the stress of the weekend too. Whenever you're stressed out, your immune system gets hit as well. But aside from that, I can't complain. Again, able to get some testing in with some ideas, which is always a blessing for me. We had the conversation yesterday about um, kind of the business side of trading and developing your trading. And one of the things that takes a hit is kind of the attention you pay to your personal development. So with both Jason Greystone and myself, it's like whenever we can sneak in time for personal developing, specifically on the trading side, it is a blessing. So I'm always in a happy place when I can spend some time away from you guys and just focusing on the charts. Yeah, I do have a birthday coming up this month. Today's my dad's birthday, by the way, which is pretty cool. Got to make sure to give the young fella a call. Yes, you should feel insulted, Chris. You guys suck the life out of my trading, but I love it. So, like I mentioned, slow markets today. We've got a lot going on fundamentally. As always, this has been nothing new. It's been the theme of the entire year. We had a business meeting yesterday, and we were talking about kind of fortunately enough, we've been doing this for a very long time. So this is what my 16th year in the market. So, everything is new, but it's also repetitive. So we were talking with Darren and Jason yesterday about how these market conditions and the charts, honestly, specifically the location of many of these pairs compared to previous years, and it got us all giggly and excited because we're at a very similar time to a very exciting time in the market back in like what 2009ish, around that area. But it's crazy because there's so much going on. I was reading through the headlines this morning, and it's the Bank of England doing this, and then Fed members doing that, and then oil doing this, and there's just so much out there where I'm happy I trade the technicals and I can just kind of look at the charts and make my decision off of that. So we're going to head down to Aussie Canada for today because, again, not a lot new. I don't have a problem with that. I'm sitting in some pretty good positions, so I'm happy with that. The euro call we made last week is well into the triple figures and hopefully still going a little bit lower. So that's a profitable trade already. It's risk free. Now let's just kind of see where it goes and see if we can keep pushing lower. But we're seeing a lot of consolidation, and the Aussie Canada is an interesting one for a consolidation pattern. Really quick, Aussie says, got a Euro Aussie bullish breakout on the daily. It depends how today ends. We can look at that next. So you can see big move here on Aussie Canada, right? High momentum bearish candle here, followed by another high momentum bearish candle that had a nice little rejection at the end. So we found some buying pressure down at these lows. We're now following that up with an inside day, right? The market's given us a little consolidation. We're completely inside the previous bar. The market is going to basically be at a decision point where it's going to make a decision, whereas this is going to be a little bit of a pause and a continuation lower, or maybe we see a little bit of a retracement back up to our previous levels of structure. And we're setting up a cool little pattern on the 4 hour, right? 4 hour, again, that single candle gets broken down into numerous candles, and we can all see a pretty clear sign of consolidation, right? Would you guys agree? Pretty clear sign of consolidation, sideways movement. We go down one more time frame, and we start to see a little bit of a different trend here. And this tends to look like, maybe not your traditional head and shoulders. There's all types of head and shoulders, but you can basically see the theme of price spiking down, making a lower low, lower close, and then the most recent moves have been this low and then a higher low and a higher low, with the upper shelf being pretty much the same, this structure swap zone. So when I see this and when I combine this with what we saw in the higher time frame, right, this is leaning towards, this is consolidation. We can break out one way or the other. If we had to predict which way we're leaning towards with a breakout, my prediction would be to the upside. Now, we don't want to make trading decisions based off of leaning, in my opinion, right? I don't want to lean one way and just put some money on the table. We always want to wait for confirmation, right? My philosophy is we want to be predictive with our analysis, reactive with our execution. So we want to analyze and predict what we think is most likely to happen. Then we want to wait for confirmation, whatever confirmation may be to us, to actually get involved in the move. In this particular move, confirmation of a bull break would mean a higher high, higher close above this level. So if we can get a higher high, higher close above this red line, it's usually red, this white line, I would expect a move to the upside, right? And then the next question is, if we go to the upside, where are we likely to go to, right? Well, our most recent level of structure, right, this little retracement right here, it's going to be at about 87.21s, the zone between 87.21s and 87.52, right? Again, we can look left. We know we have some inside structure. Look left, structure leaves clues. So if I drag this out, you're going to see a nice structure swap at the top of that zone. As always, right, repetitive if you've been on this channel before or been in the live room before, right? Swing high to swing low right there. We've got a 3D2 at the conservative level, 50% at the higher level. Of course, we can bring in some Fibonacci extension as well. Actually, that may give us some confluence here. But I was gonna say we can bring in our volume profile. Yep, 1/618 at that lower level as well. 1/618 Fibonacci extension. A little hard to see because there's a lot of stuff here, but it's there in blue. Trust me. Then we can bring in our volume profile if we want from our swing high to swing low, just to see if there's any type of spikes or gaps that we should be paying attention to. And you can see really the obvious pickup right here during our period of consolidation. We go basically numb until we get to that same level that we identified, with the bulk of the volume being at the higher level, which again, we would expect because of that inside structure swap. So potential bull breakout here. I'm going to get this into our pro trade log as well. Again, for me, it's breakout, retracement, and then look for the extension to either level 1 and or level 2. I did see a question come through the chat, but let me copy this real quick so I can upload it to our trade floor. George says ascending triangle. Can you summarize the Aussie dollar? A little bit late. If you're new to the live stream here, so I only look at one opportunity. So this is kind of an inside peek to our live trading room. The live trading room, we're going to stay here and look at as many things as we possibly can. But for the live room, for the live stream, so we're only looking at one opportunity. So I apologize. With that being said, if you want to hop in the live room, it's part of the 14-day trial membership we have here at Tier 1 Trading. So come on over, hop in, join the London live room, join the New York live room, and get a lot more as well. Boyd says risk and reward. So here, good question. And this is a good example of how we can, I guess, the process of trading. Risk reward. Do we know a risk reward yet? And I guess it could depend on what type of trader you are. But right now, no. Right now, we do not know a risk reward because it is too early in the process, right? Because we don't even know where our entry is going to be at. So the only, I guess, the only way you would know your risk reward, let's say if you're an aggressive breakout trader. So let's say you're someone, sorry, I got lines on here. I'm going to delete this stuff. Let's say you are an aggressive breakout trader, and let's say that you don't need confirmation. You don't need a higher high, higher close. This is a very aggressive way. You're just going to put a buy stop order, let's say a pip or so above the breakout. Now, at this point, you may know your risk reward. You probably still won't, depending on your rules for breakout. But you could look at your potential reward area, again, either being the conservative area down here or the aggressive area up here, right? If you're using that breakout, typically most breakout traders will have that stop loss somewhere below the breakout candle. So we don't have the breakout candle yet, so we still can't identify that. A safe spot if you are trading a breakout will be right below these structural lows right here. So again, this is not saying this is where your stop loss would be, but this is the best we can do right now before we actually get any type of entry signal. So what we're going through here, for you guys that are new, is a process called IPDE. It's a 4-step process. It's a staple of my trading. If you haven't done it or done something similar, I highly recommend it. It will change the way you look at a chart, and it will change the way you trade forever. But it's identify, predict, decide, execute. So what we want to first do is we want to identify what's happening on the price chart. What is the market doing? What has the market done? Right? We then want to predict based off of what we identify. We then want to make a prediction. If this, then that. If this, then that, right? What direction is the market likely to go in? If we're going in that direction, what price point are we likely to go to? After we make that prediction, then we get to the decision-making process. So that's where we are right now. We've identified the rejection and the consolidation on the higher time frame. We're predicting that if, this is an early prediction, right? If we break above, close above, then we're likely to continue higher to the 2 levels that we mentioned earlier, right? The next part of that process is decide. Now the question is decide how can I get involved? And that's where you're going to refer to your trading plan. So using the aggressive breakout situation, well, if price action breaks 2 pips above the highs, then I have buy stop order filled for an aggressive breakout. Or if price action puts in a higher high, higher close candlestick formation, then I enter next bar market, meaning that you're waiting for confirmation of that break, and as soon as you get that confirmation, you enter a market order right away. Or it could be, and I'm kind of going from aggressive to conservative, if price action breaks out, meaning higher high, higher close, then I look for a retest of structure and then XYZ with retest of structure, right? So it's an entire process we're going through. Think about it like, working for a company that has a protocol for what you need to do to kind of make sure a machine is working right. I was talking to a military friend the other day. He was telling me about a guy that almost made a massive accident and killed himself because he wasn't following protocol with how he was working with a particular machine. And he's like, this guy's a supervisor. He's like, this is why we have these things in place. You do 1, then you do 2, then you do 3, all these checks and balances to make sure you don't blow yourself up. And the guy kind of skipped past steps 2 and 3 and almost blew himself up. And luckily he caught himself right before he made a life-altering mistake or life-ending mistake. But the same thing with trading, right? We're not going to make life-ending mistakes, but you can make mistakes that cost you lots of money. So at this point, again, we're not going to know our risk reward, but you're at the point where you're starting to set up in your mind, and again, in your mind, I mean, referring to your trading plan, what needs to happen for you to take the trade. And the earlier you can do that, the more comfortable you're going to be, right? Because what's going to happen is if this thing breaks out, and if you're not ready for that move, there's the potential that you can panic. When you panic, you don't necessarily think clearly, and then you end up making an emotional decision, right? Have you guys ever done that? You end up making an emotional decision where you're like, trade it. And you just take a trade. And then you realize after the trade is over that you made a mistake, and then you have 2 options. You either exit your trade immediately once you realize you made a mistake, or you're kind of like, I'm going to stay in it and see what happens, roll the dice a little bit. And you put yourself in a bad space. So at this point in the trade, what you should be doing is you should be rehearsing. You should be rehearsing. You should be referring to your trading plan. Okay, I need this. All right, if we do this, then I do that, and playing out the different roles and setting up as much as possible as you can to prepare yourself for the trade so that when that thing actually occurs, or if that thing actually occurs, maybe the last step is just ensuring that the risk reward meets your profile. It's a very long answer to your question, Boyd. Does that make sense, though? On why we can't measure risk reward right now, but how we what we should be paying attention to and how we can in the future. Let me know. And let me know if there's any other questions about this setup as well. I'm going to hold on for a little bit. I know there's a delay on the live stream. Let me get this over to our pro trade log as well. Then we're going to head over to the, Euro Euro Aussie, you wanted Orsi? Euro Aussie break? I'm in no rush again. There's not too much here, so answers Boyd's question. Perfect. Any other questions for you guys watching the live stream? By the way, show me some support on the live stream. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you are not subscribed already. Lots of content. And again, if you want to get over and work with us on a closer basis, head over to the website, tier1trading.com. Rumor has it there may be a workshop coming up soon, so stay in the loop. We don't do a lot of promotion outside of our circle, so if you're not in the loop, you may miss it. But that's what a little birdie might have told me a couple weeks ago. All right, so let me get this into our pro trade log. I'm going to shut down the live stream. Live streamers, I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you have any questions or comments, leave it underneath. Again, if you guys are new, rules of the live stream. I only look at one pair, right? Trade of the day, one opportunity. So we're not sitting here on the live stream, going over a million pairs, right? That is not fair to our live room members. All right. So that's not going to happen. We're going to pick one. Some days I'll have one predetermined, most days. Some days I'll be like, nothing in the market. What do you guys want to take a look at? If you catch me before the live stream on social media or somewhere, you can give an idea and be like, hey, Akil, can you look at this today? But unfortunately, we're not going to do a request during the live stream. Just not fair. So hope you guys understand. If not, then I don't need you to understand. That's what it is. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Live room members, give me a second to get this into our chat, and then we'll head over to Euro Aussie Net.